I've been a migrant into the country. I've lived in Point Cook now for 10 years, city of Wyndham. I think there were 11,000 people living in Point Cook when we moved here 10 years ago. There's now 46,000 people living in Point Cook. And I was very naive and sort of moved in and went, oh great, you know, it's a new planned suburb, you know, everything will just pop up around us and that will be wonderful. And then I go, hang on, what's going on? That isn't quite what happened. And I guess, you know, I was so busy raising a family and doing the corporate commute and doing a few other things besides that, I didn't really take time to really think about what was happening. A little bit like the frog in the pan that just got hotter and hotter and hotter. And a few years ago, I went through a little bit of a brush with breast cancer and had a little bit of time to think about things a little bit differently and came out of it kind of like really, okay, what is my purpose? And didn't quite find that in the corporate world. And in fact, I think I just drove everyone crazy because you can't change the world in the corporate world. And so I decided last year just to sit in the community for a bit and figure things out and figure out what my job was. And the first thing I probably did is got in touch with a few very interesting community advocates who were busy painting walls and getting rid of graffiti and doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, gee, I've never picked up a paintbrush in my life before, but this is kind of fun. And then, oh, hang on, our community really wants a pirate ship, but you know, it doesn't look like we're getting one. So let's get on and sort that out. But what I learned through that, one is what a fantastic community we had around us. And two, that when community works together and has a united purpose, what a difference you can make. So while I was trying to find my purpose and I'm going, everybody's whinging about the roads and the, you know, you can't even get out to the train station to park to even go to your work because it's the same roads you're trying to get out at. I knew that I'd been spending 2 to 4 hours a day and my kids are kind of grown and I'm kind of asking these questions. These are young families where the major breadwinner, some 70% of the population, is trying to spend 2 to 4 hours of their day just going to get to wherever they're earning their paycheck to pay for their mortgage. And the second person within the family is doing some kind of freelance or micro business in some sort of shape or form, but in a not a very connected, collaborative way. So my funny little brain sort of thought about this a little bit and went, hang on, you know, I worked in co-working spaces in the city. What if we got some of those corporate commuters, instead of them commuting to stick their bums on seats in the city, why can't we go to their employers and say, if we've got a fit for work environment for you in the local area, can't those guys work here 2, 4, 5 days a week? Could that happen? And when I started to ask those questions, I got a hell yeah kind of answer. And I went, oh, well, that's really exciting. And then the other side of that question was, well, if we can get those guys working locally and adding to the local economy and giving their quality of life back, could we potentially also create a collaborative environment between those micro businesses and get them collaborating and doing some rather exciting things together and accessing some more macro opportunities rather than what I'm seeing, which was these sort of disparate networking groups that were sort of pitting each sort of little group of people against each other. So you're an accountant in the suburbs now, you're now competing for everybody's tax return, which is not very big money, and everybody's asking for cheap. That's probably not the way the firms of accountants work in the city. So nobody's working particularly smart but they're also very isolated. So asked those questions and got another hell yeah sort of answer. But what I didn't realize at the time when I was asking those questions is that people weren't looking for just desks and bums on seats. They were looking for space. They were looking for space to do things. So I could have quite easily, I guess, gone and, you know, hired some space and turned it into, you know, quite a cruisy office co-working environment. But that wasn't what people were asking for. They were asking for space to do things around each other. So that meant we were looking at a mixed-use ecosystem. And I probably will just flick through a few of these because I've talked about all of this. But as I was sort of going through this journey of asking these questions, it sort of came to me that there's a hell of a lot of work that's been done on this outer metro challenge in the 20-minute neighborhood. I'm like, well, everyone's talking about it, but what are we doing about it? You know, that was the thing. So from my point of view, I was like, okay, well, it's pointless whinging, because we can all whinge and we all know what the problems are. You know, we can talk about the challenges till the cows come home. What are we going to do about it? And coming from that, what are we going to do about it? Well, let's find some space that might potentially suit. Now, coming out of the Point Cook side, I'm going, wow, there isn't any space on the Point Cook side. You can go to Wallace Avenue, you're going to compete with everybody else trying to catch the train. Wi-Fi is a massive challenge in the area, and there's really nothing happening, and just sort of trying to do a skirt around. And then I found a really exciting thing sitting vacant up on Hopper's Lane. I'm going, hang on, our old TAFE school's been sitting empty for 2 years. They've switched off the lights, put on the security system, moved out, nothing happening there. And the more and more people I took around the space, the more and more people said, we can do this, we can do that, we can do that. And, you know, people started to talk about, you know what, we can solve the problem of our kids, what we do with our kids while we're working if they're preschool. We can solve the problem of what we do with our kids in the school holidays. I can tell you, I've got a biz buddy, and I think Joe's seen him, Mike, with his 2 little girls, being Mr. Mum in the holidays, trying to be the tax accountant and trying to sort of figure out how the hell he's going to keep his kids entertained. We can do all of that. You know, we can have creative people and arts people and the food and events and trades and, you know, not just the, you know, arty. I met a guitar maker yesterday and he was like, I want to do this. And I'm going, you know, those are the people we can have in there. But we can also create, you know, a proper system for managing our industrial trades and get them onto the RFPs and get them onto the jobs that are happening locally and make sure that we actually really are activating economy and our, you know, local community. And that's work and community is something that is really the way we want to do it, the community we want to live in and the way we want to live, and in a tenable sort of way. So that's just some imagery from the space that we are angling for at the moment out of VU. It's really exciting. There's lots of work to be done, and it's by no means in the bag. And I certainly don't think that this is something us as the community can do just from a grassroots thing alone. We certainly need help. We certainly need champions. We need partners. We need a university education partner. We need some corporate partners to jump behind this. And we've done a bit of hard yards with government and you know, getting our story out there. People like LaunchVic are, you know, very interested in what we're doing. It certainly seems to be resonating with the thought process out there, innovate and make something happen. I'm really, really passionate about the social and economic KPIs. I'm not overly concerned about what's in it for me from a dollars and cents perspective, because if I was, I wouldn't be doing this. But I absolutely believe from the bottom of my heart, this is something that we need to do. I'm working with groups in other outer metro areas. This is not just a Wyndham problem. I'm collaborating and sharing, you know, my knowledge and learnings across the board with other groups, and we're figuring out the way to go. But I really love to get proof of concept right here in Wyndham. I don't want to be a follower and waiting for somebody else to prove it. I've been out to Marinda and I've seen the council version of, oh, we'll do some co-working space, but they haven't got membership. But did you ask the community, did they want space or did they want desks? Co-working came from the tech people who needed to put a computer on the desk. You know, are we asking the right questions to get the right answers? And I just think, you know what, we can do something really, really sexy here. We can, the content and the story that can come out of this is massive. There's lots and lots of learnings, I'm not going to lie, and I certainly don't have all of the answers. But, you know, from my point of view, what have we got to lose but get it done? You know, and that's me. And for me, it's all about the future of work and the future of community. And I don't think they're two separate things. I think they're very, very intertwined, especially for the outer metro areas. So that's my little story. And
Thanks, Sara.